My phone buzzed while I was eating lunch at work. It was an email from a wedding venue. The subject line read, "Final payment reminder, $38,000 due today." I frowned. I wasn't getting married. Thinking it was a mistake, I opened the email. My heart nearly stopped. The contract listed my full name, my home address, my phone number, and what looked like my signature. The wedding. My younger sister's. The balance. $38,000. I immediately called the venue. "There has to be a mistake," I said. "I'm not the one getting married." The manager sounded confused. "But you're listed as the financially responsible party." "I never signed anything." There was a pause. Then the manager quietly replied, "We have a signed contract on file." My hand started shaking. Someone had signed my name. And deep down, I already knew who. I drove straight to my parents' house. When I walked in, they weren't surprised to see me. My mother simply smiled and asked, "So you got the email?" That's when I knew. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a plan. I placed the printed contract on the kitchen table. "Who signed my name?" Nobody answered. My father leaned back in his chair. "Relax. We were going to tell you." "Tell me what?" "That you're helping pay for your sister's wedding." "I never agreed to that." My sister rolled her eyes. "You earn the most money." So family helps family." I pointed at the contract. "This isn't help. This is fraud." My mother sighed dramatically. "Don't use such ugly words. We're your parents. We knew you'd say yes eventually." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They hadn't asked. They hadn't borrowed. They had forged my signature and expected me to quietly accept a $38,000 debt. When I stood up to leave, my father called after me. "If you embarrass this family before the wedding, you'll regret it." I looked back. No, I think someone else is about to regret it. The next morning, I met with an attorney. I handed over every document. The emails, the contract, screenshots of text messages, even security footage from the venue's lobby. The venue manager had already reviewed their cameras. The video clearly showed my parents and sister signing paperwork. Not me. My attorney smiled. "This case is simpler than you think." A professional handwriting expert compared the signatures. They didn't match. Phone records showed I wasn't even in the same city when the contract was signed. Everything pointed to one conclusion. Someone had intentionally forged my identity. Then my attorney asked, "Do you want to press criminal charges?" I sat quietly. It wasn't a question I ever imagined answering. 2 days before the wedding, my parents received a legal notice. The venue immediately froze the contract. Without a valid financial guarantor, the balance had to be paid before the ceremony. Panic spread through the family. My phone exploded with calls. My mother cried. My father demanded that I stop overreacting. Relatives accused me of ruining the wedding. I answered every call the same way. I didn't ruin anything. The person who forged my name did. The truth spread quickly. Within hours, everyone knew why the payment had been blocked. Some relatives apologized. Others stayed silent. No one defended forgery anymore. Because they couldn't. That evening, my grandmother asked me to visit her. She handed me a small envelope. "I've been saving this." It was a letter from Grandpa, written years before he passed away. Inside, he had written, "Never confuse kindness with permission. The people who truly love you will never build their happiness by stealing your peace." Tears filled my eyes. Grandpa always understood our family better than anyone. Grandmother smiled gently. "He knew someday you'd need those words." For the first time in days, I felt calm. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about respect. The wedding eventually took place. My parents borrowed money, sold a vacation property, and cut many expensive plans to pay the bill themselves. The venue removed my name completely from every document. The investigation confirmed I had never signed the contract. No criminal charges were filed because I chose not to pursue them. That decision wasn't for my parents. It was for me. I didn't want my future tied to their mistakes. Months later, my father came to my office. He looked older than I remembered. He quietly placed an envelope on my desk. Inside was a handwritten apology. "I spent my whole life teaching you to be honest," he wrote. "And then I asked you to accept my dishonesty. I have no excuse." For the first time, he wasn't asking for forgiveness. He was accepting responsibility. I folded the letter and placed it in my drawer. Trust doesn't return with an apology. It returns through years of changed behavior. Whether that would ever happen, only time could answer. But one thing was certain. My parents thought forging my name would save my sister's dream wedding. Instead, it nearly destroyed their own reputation. And sometimes, the most expensive part of a wedding isn't the flowers, the venue, or the dress. It's the price people pay when they betray the one person who trusted them most.
Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a new emotional story. Your support means more than words can say, and it helps us continue bringing these untold stories to life.